Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, and I do, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a fascinating 2020 model year limited edition of 250 pieces in microblasted titanium. There are an awful lot of car-themed watches out there, but if you love SUVs and trucks, sometimes it can be slim pickings. Until now. This is the Zenith Defy El Primero 21 Land Rover, and in addition to its unusual grayscale aesthetic, it has a rare solid dial on this Defy El Primero 21 platform, and this is my favorite version of the watch since it debuted back in 2017, this 2020 250-piece Land Rover edition. Now, this is Land Rover generally, not Range Rover, not Evoque, not Defender, so any Land Rover you can wear this in good conscience. It's 44 millimeters in diameter in microblasted titanium. It's 15.3 millimeters thick. It's 50.4 from lug tip to lug tip, and it has a 23 millimeter spacing between the lugs, but you can see how that's not perfectly descriptive since there is a little bit of shoulder of the strap outboard of the lugs themselves. So just keep that in mind. If you want another strap, go to Zenith first and then possibly commission a custom builder, because you do want to have that little bit of shoulder outboard of the horn spacing. Taking a look at the strap, it's really nice. It's rubber, it's textile, and it's got a gray primary weave with a contrasting orange stitch that looks tremendous. You can see it's in excellent condition, effectively a new strap. We've got a clasp that is model specific here. You can see it is microblasted titanium as well. The Zenith Star logo is present internally and externally. Press both triggers, not just one. You have to press them both to open up the clasp, so it's quite secure. 2 pins. What happens is you set the strap inside, then you pin it down, then you close it up, and all the excess length sits underneath the strap and the clasp. So it's a very clean look, and it doesn't need strap minder loops. I always love that. Taking another look here, we're just going to pull those out because we want to get a better look at the case back in just a few moments. The Defy El Primero 21 uses a version of the Defy case that first debuted back in 1969. Some people inaccurately claim that this is a pass down from Hublot or a hand-me-up from Tag Heuer. Neither is true. This case design is a Zenith original dating back to 1969. They own this. You can see that there is a little rubber shoulder for the crown and a couple of orange accents to match it on the strap as well as the dial. We have little shoulders around the chronograph pushers, and you can see everything is microblasted. There's a little bit of burnishing, but I don't see any obvious wear through. This is not a coating, by the way. This is what's achieved by microblasting it, so this finish can be restored. It's not like DLC wearing off. You can see that there's several facets to the inwardly stepped bezel, and then we've got a relatively flat sapphire with a little bit of a box section. What's fascinating here, and I'm going to stop the chronograph for a second so we can distinguish between the two independent halves of this movement, but you see that second sand right there? Well, when I pull out the crown, it stops moving. And the Defy El Primero movement, the 9004 that debuted back in 2017, was the first El Primero ever to have a hacking function. So that's an interesting little piece of trivia. Also, because the power reserve for the 1/100th of a second foudroyante chronograph is only 50 minutes manually wound, you get a power reserve indicator for the chronograph power reserve up at the top. And it goes from all gray to gray and orange striped. As it runs down, you'll see more of the stripes. Now, turning it counterclockwise allows you to wind the movement that tells time. Turning it clockwise allows you to wind the movement that powers the chronograph. They are two independent movements. They have almost nothing in common. It's like AC and heat on a car in the 1950s. The two systems weren't integrated. They operated separately. So this is a 50 hertz escapement, or 360,000 vibrations per hour. The time-telling portion that is not the chronograph, that is 36,000 vibrations per hour, 10 beats per second, a traditional El Primero as we've had since 1969. The chronograph is 100 beats per second, or 50 hertz. So 5 hertz to tell the time, 50 hertz for a chronograph that gives you up to 1/100th of a second resolution. Now you can see when I stop it, we've got chronograph 60 seconds here, chronograph minutes here. We do not have a chronograph hours register. I love this version of the watch because a lot of these, the vast majority, with the exception of a few Panda dials, feature open dials, which to me feel more like a generic design that is a little bit too close aesthetically with the other LVMH watch group brands, Tag Heuer and Hublot. But with a solid dial on this watch, it feels much more Zenith. We'll also do a lume shot so you get a sense of that. It uses orange luminova, which is not very bright at all. It's there, but it's not practical. Practical, however, is 100 meters water resistant, which we do have. We have 100 meters of water resistance. It's a push-down crown. You can see that we have a rotor designed to look like a Land Rover wheel, and it says so right there. With a combination of media blast, polish, and satin. Underneath, the 53 joule chronometer certified twin movement, twin barrel, twin escapement Zenith 9004. So you have a manual wind 50-minute barrel and a 360,000 vibration per hour escapement. Then you have an automatically wound 50-hour time-telling power reserve. So 50 minutes manually wound for the chronograph, 50 hours wound by this rotor for the time-telling. Now what's fascinating is that the time-telling escapement is a full silicon escapement, so it's unlubricated and it's lightweight, it's anti-magnetic, it uses little, if any, lubrication. But as with Breguet and some other super high-frequency escapements that we've seen over the last 15 years, the high-frequency 360,000 vibration per hour escapement in this watch, that actually uses conventional pallet stones with a metal escape wheel and a metal anchor. So it's interesting to see how those two different materials have been deployed, and that the modern materials were actually deployed on the slower operating escapement. So you do have the chronometer certification, you do have the hacking for the time-telling functions. Here's where things get really wacky. I pull the crown out and I hack the movement, but the chronograph keeps operating. And so you can actually wind up the chronograph and operate it when the time-telling functions are powered down and non-functional. And you can operate the time-telling functions even after the chronograph has run down. So these really are two entirely separate movements inside of this case. It uses KIF shock protection, which is sort of an upscale alternative to Inca Block. Number 50-hour and 50-minute power reserve. It's a lot of fun. It's a very cool watch. And it is one hell of a piece of horological theater. This is the Land Rover version and the one I recommend. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.